Hello, dear students. I welcome you all on the online platform of KRT Arts, BH Commerce, and AM Science, that is KTHM College Nasik. I am Sharai Sonone. I am working as an assistant professor at the Department of English. This video is for the students of MA English, in which I will deal with the paper 3.1, that is Indian Writing in English. Here I will mainly focus on the life and works of Manmohan Ghosh, who is a poet of pre-independence period. Manmohan Ghosh lived from 1869 to 1924. He was the well-known poet of pre-independence period. Firstly, I will briefly talk on the pre-independence period, that is known as the colonial period of India. Indian English in pre-independence period was the result of the blend of two cultures, Indian and English. The English language introduced modern literary forms to the Indian people. The well-known writer V.K. Ghotak observes that the first quarter of the 19th century was the period of incubation for Indo-Anglican poetry. The term Indo-Anglican is used specifically for the Indian English writers or poets. There are some notable poets of pre-independence period who contributed to Indian English literature. Toru Dutt, Henry Desrosiers, Rabindranath Tagore, Swami Vivekanand, Sarojini Naidu, Aurobindo Ghosh were the pioneers of Indian English poetry. These notable poets introduced the culture of India to the West through their poetry. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to talk about one of such divine souls of India who was greatly influenced by the West and had a great mastery over English. He is Manmohan Ghosh. At the very early age, Manmohan Ghosh and his two siblings, Binoy Bhushan and Aurobindo, were sent to England for school education. When he was in Manchester Grammar School, he had really amazing days because during those days he began to compose poetry and contributed to the grammar school magazine named Ulela and Fox Family Magazine. When he was in St. Paul's School, he gained profound knowledge of the classical studies. His fellow friends observed that his poetry had impassioned tones and had an impact of the classical literature. His fellow friends were also poets. They were Laurence Binyon, Stephen Phillips, and Arthur Cripps. They criticized and appreciated each other's poetry. His love for poetry began to flourish in a healthy atmosphere. His closest friend, Binyon's praising words are enough to scale the quality of Manmohan's poetry. I quote the exact lines of Binyon: "He, well read in the English poets, better read that I in the Elizabethans and the older lyricists." Manmohan captured the attention of many renowned poets of his age. At the age of 24, he moved back to India and settled at Baidyanath. In those days, India was facing many challenges caused by the colonization. Mahatma Gandhi was in those days leading the Salt March. The entire country was raging against British government. On that background, Manmohan could not set himself properly in India. Initially, he met his charming friends and spent extremely pleasant time among them. He then began to teach at Patna College as professor of English literature, where he achieved immense popularity among his students. But he was not happy there. In one of the letters sent to Binion, Manmohan expressed that there were charming and enthusiastic people, but there was no true understanding of things. Here, things means poetry. He wanted somebody who could criticize and appreciate his poetry truly. Some people call him denationalist because he did not participate in the national movement like his younger brother Aurobindo. But the things on his side were different. Since he had spent most of his time in England, he got fascinated by its culture and nature. He was happy in the stream of Western life and in the glory of the classics of Europe. When he came back to India, he always cherished his memories of the more beautiful parts of England and Wales. England had given him spirit, but after all, he was an Indian in his nature. His reading of Indian philosophy changed his concept of God. His conviction was that God is in nature and nature is in God. I have put before you a short life journey of Manmohan Ghosh. Now I will talk on his literary contribution and features of his poetic composition. Let's see this slide, which contains Manmohan's literary contribution. His maiden poetic composition was Prem Veera. It was published in 1890, in which he contributed his 5 poems. It was a collaborative work with his friends of Oxford and Trinity Universities. He gained lot of popularity at Oxford, in English society, and in his literary circle. He expressed the immense love for England in his poems. The famous literary figure Oscar Wilde praised his poems as, "His verses show us how quick and subtle are intellectual sympathies of the Oriental mind and suggest how close is the bond of union that may some day bind India to us by other methods than of commerce and military strength." Mr. Ghosh ought some day to make a name in our literature. It was just the beginning of his literary career. He was a stranger from the East, but he glorified England perfectly in his poems. In 1898, when he was in India, another book of poetry published in Calcutta Review, entitled Love Songs and Elegies. It was a collection of lyrics on love, nature, and death. Binion said that his poetry followed the forms and traditions of English poetry, but his temperament and attitude were Eastern. Then appeared his next book, that is Perseus the Gorgon Slayer. It was an epic, but it remained incomplete work. Manmohan was very devoted to his wife. He took care of his paralyzed wife till her death. During those days, he composed the poems under the title Early Poems. He then wrote the poems dedicated to his wife in the Orphic Mysteries series and Immortal Eve. The early lyrics, this collection of poems, is about his love for nature. There are some poems that have melancholic tone and reveal a sense of loss. To him, nature imparts the way to the higher life. He used the meditative mood to write the poems. It shows that he had a mastery over the intricate structure and verses forms. As I mentioned, Orphic Mysteries includes the songs of the pain, passion, and mystery of death. It includes 24 lyrics written between 1918 to 1920. The lyrics are full of pathos, sincerity, and deep thoughts that are dedicated to his wife. The next collection was Immortal Eve, which includes 300 poems which are written in ballad meter. In 1924, he died of illness. His daughter Latika Ghosh published Manmohan's collection of poems posthumously, named Songs of Love and Death, that expressed his love for his wife and desolation of his loss. This book is made up of these three sections: Early Lyrics, Orphic Mysteries, and Immortal Eve. To conclude, I would say that he was one of the most remarkable but least noticed poet of pre-independence period. His poems little concerned with his homeland, but we cannot ignore his selection of imagery and diction, because his poems reveal the individual and human's journey to spirituality and universality. So students, I hope you have enjoyed this presentation in which I talked on the life and works of Manmohan Ghosh. In the next presentation, I will be discussing the poem Can It Be from the Orphic Mysteries of Songs of Love and Death. Thank you. Have a good day. Stay learning. This is the bibliography. You can refer these books to understand the poetry of Manmohan Ghosh.